Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me for day 21 of 40 days of praise. Big thank you to everyone who has joined me from the first day or has joined as many days as they can or has popped in at any time to be part of the praise party. So the essence of the 40 days of praise is that I am thanking God for my very eventful 40 days. And in these 40 days, I am chronicling the highlights of those 40 years and giving praise and thanks to God. Big thank you to those joining me on Zoom. Big thank you to those joining me on Facebook Live. Big thank you to those who are going to watch replays on YouTube. So I'm hoping we've had an uneventful weekend and we are preparing for a great week. So today, I'm still going to be talking about my time in UCH. That's the University College Hospital, where I did the clinical part of my initial medical training in Nigeria. Okay. So today is a little highlight about getting into leadership and how that went. It's going to be a very, very brief summary because it's a bit long, but it was a very, very eventful time. So as I might have mentioned before, I've talked about my secondary schools, primary schools, universities, and right now we're at this point. So I'd mentioned about being excited, being a medical student and everything and getting into the swing of things. So I eventually decided to be a leader. And it's happened because I volunteered. It was just this particular day where they said, who's the class rep? Does anybody going to volunteer? And I just said, okay, yes, I will volunteer. And that's how it happened. So it was a bit torturous from the beginning. And most people might realize that if you try and do the right thing, not everybody is going to accept what you are doing, whether because of what you are doing or the methods you are using. Definitely evolved since then, but I'm not too sure some things would have changed even in hindsight. Okay, so the attendance was supposed to be 75% to attend classes. So when I was class rep and we were in some postings, people would not be in the class and then they would tell their friends to sign their attendance for them. And it used to rile me up to no end. So I'll let them do what they wanted to do. But by the time I got to the place where I will submit it, I will cancel anybody that I already knew was not there and was signed for. So it used to make them very, very upset. And I used to also say, well, you're supposed to be responsible. You're adults. If you come to study medicine, you should not be toying with lies. All you need is 75% attendance, not 100%. If you're not there, you're not there. And if you're not there, don't ask people to sign for you. So after a while, people will come to class. They say, have you seen me? Have you seen me? I've come. Then they will sign and they will go away. Yes, so it was a bit torturous doing the right thing, but I'm happy that now 15 years down the line, I'm seeing people that were my classmates that were saying some of the things you were doing then, we didn't understand it then, but now we're understanding it a bit better. So I think maybe that would encourage somebody who is in a position of leadership or dealing with people that do the right things, satisfy your conscience, please God. God will always defend you. God would always defend those who are standing up for the truth. It got to a point that if I was passing, I'll just be seeing scowls and frowns. And there was a time I went to church, I had a night vigil, and I said, well, God, you're the one that encouraged me to put my head into this. So you're going to have to help me with all of this feelings and everything. And I thank God that God helped me through that time. And through the grace of God, I was able to scale through all my exams as well. So now it got to a time that I was going to end 1 year and start another as a leader. So the first time I was a volunteer, the second time I had to think about it and decide whether I wanted to go for it again, because this time it was going to require an election. So I told a few people, said, I'm going for Senate again and all of that. I definitely told God and I felt led in that direction. Before there were 6 leaders going for 6 positions. This time there were 11 people going for 6 positions. So it was a much stiffer competition. The fellowship I also attended did not particularly smile on politicians, because they kind of felt that sometimes people get into politics and they just completely change and start doing the opposite of what they said they would do. So they were a bit silent about that. Because I now ended up being a leader in the fellowship as well. But at this point, they were silent. They didn't say very much at the time. And people will walk up to me and say, you are going for Senate. I'm not going to vote for you. You cannot win. You cannot enter. And I'll just look at them and say, okay. Surprisingly, everything worked out and I was still part of the 6 that were chosen, elected at this time. So I know God had a hand in it. And there came a time that I needed to defend my being a child of God by making a decision that was not sweet for me, or because I was defending the cause of the collective. And I thank God that it was a good testimony, and the name of my fellowship, the name of God, or my own family name did not come into disrepute because of that incident. So there were some songs we used to sing in our fellowship. It was a very interesting fellowship. As you might have mentioned, as I have mentioned before, I did attend Vessels of Honor Foundation in UI. But when I went to UCH and the hurdles of going to fellowship that was outside the campus came up, I had started skipping some meetings, and I just had to talk to myself and say, if it continues like this, you might not even go to fellowship at all. So maybe I should just start looking for one that was within the campus, which is how I ended up in UCH Christian Fellowship, which was a little different from the one I was coming from, a little more formal and conventional. So I had to do believers class from class 1 to 7, have a formal introduction into the fellowship. Yes, it was a very different setting, but I thank God for those times. So there were some songs we used to sing in fellowship. I'm going to sing 2 of them today. They are Yoruba songs. The sing-alongs today, one of them is Stand Up for Jesus. And then one of them is a Yoruba song, which is titled Shama Similo. So Shama Similo, Olori Ogun. Ìwọ ló rán mi níṣẹ́, ìwọ ló rán mi ní ìrìn àjò, Shama Similo. And it means, just go with me, just go with me. The mighty man of war, just go with me. You are the one that has sent me on this errand, and just go with me. That's what Shama Similo means. The 2 songs that I'm going to sing is Àwọn tó dúró d'Olúwa and Mímọ́. Some of you that attended my fellowship that are here might know those songs. But Àwọn tó dúró d'Olúwa is from Isaiah, which says that they that wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up on wings like eagles. They will run, they will not be weary. They will walk and they will not faint. So it's the Yoruba translation of that song. So it goes thus. Àwọn tó dúró d'Olúwa, àwọn tó dúró d'Olúwa, wọ́n tún agbára wọn ṣe o, wọ́n tún agbára wọn ṣe o, wọ́n fi gòkè bí idì, wọ́n fi gòkè bí idì, wọ́n sáré kí ó sì rẹ̀ wọ́n, wọ́n sáré kí ó sì rẹ̀ wọ́n, wọ́n rìn àrẹ̀ kí ó mú wọn, wọ́n rìn àrẹ̀ kí ó mú wọn. And the second one is Mímọ́. Mímọ́ means holy. Mímọ́ means holy in Yoruba. And it's a praise song to God, extolling his virtues. Extolling his virtues as God, as the Trinity, and that's how the standards of the song go. So I'm going to sing it in full, and it's brought back very, very many happy memories. Mímọ́, Elédùmarè mímọ́, àwímáyẹ̀wò mímọ́, ọba tí kì í padà mímọ́, mímọ́, mímọ́ l'Olúwa mímọ́, Elédùmarè mímọ́, àwímáyẹ̀wò mímọ́, ọba tí kì í padà mímọ́. Ó yìn ọ́, ìwọ mà lọ́ba tó jọba lọ. Ó yìn ọ́, Ọba mímọ́ òde ọ̀run, kábíyèsí, àtọ́dá ọlẹ́jọ́ ò mà sí o bàbá. Ọba tó ńlá ni, ọba tó ń gbani, mímọ́ mímọ́ lórúkọ rẹ̀. Mímọ́ mímọ́ lolúwa mímọ́, Elédùmarè mímọ́. Àwí máa yẹ̀hùn mímọ́, ọba tí kì í padà mímọ́. Sí ọ Jésù Kristi, olùṣẹ́gun wàjà ṣẹ́gun, gbanigbani lọ́jọ́ ìṣòro, òdodo Sharon ni o. Olùgbàlà aráyé, ìwọ ló gbé túbú láyé láìkú. Ọ̀rọ̀ gbénú ọmọ ènìyàn fọ́hùn, mímọ́ mímọ́ lórúkọ rẹ̀. Mímọ́ mímọ́ lolúwa mímọ́. And then the last verse is, sí ọ ẹ̀mí mímọ́, àdàbà mímọ́ òde ọ̀run, aláwẹ̀ à ń sásí, olóhùn kẹ́lẹ́kẹ́lẹ́. Wọ́n máa yàn, ìwọ lẹ̀mí Ọlọ́run tí kì í dìbàjẹ́, olùtùnú wa, olùgbéga wa, ológo dídán dídán. Mímọ́ mímọ́ lolúwa mímọ́, Elédùmarè mímọ́. Àwí máa yẹ̀hùn mímọ́, ọba tí kì í yí padà mímọ́. Okay, and then we just sing one verse from Stand Up for Jesus. And if you're joining us for the first time, then you might be hearing this for the first time, that I do have a birthday wish, and it's to give 40 widows and widowers, 40 orphans, and 40 ministers a token for my birthday. And the criteria is that they all have to be indigent. They would probably majorly all be in Nigeria because of the social system there. But if they are elsewhere, it is okay. The list is not complete. And if you are moved to give, please give generously, give what you have, and give cheerfully. Thank you. So I will just go to the first verse of Stand Up for Jesus. And then we will sing Shama Similo. Stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. Lift up your royal banner. He must not suffer. From victory unto victory, his army shall he lead, till every foe is bound, and Christ is Lord indeed. And the last song is a Yoruba song titled Shama Similo. Shama Similo, Olórí ogun. Shama Similo, Olórí ogun. Ìwọ ló rán mi níṣẹ́, ìwọ ló rán mi nírìn àjò. Shama Similo, Olórí. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. I really appreciate it.